On which platforms?
YouTube and Facebook. So right now,
Facebook doesn't deserve me.
and
Facebook doesn't deserve me, damn it. Although if you're watching me on Facebook, I'm quite grateful to you. All right. So we're on YouTube, of which I approve, though not as much as Rumble. And also on Facebook, which I approve of slightly less than TikTok. I hate social media. But to fail to use it is a big mistake in this field. I'm glad that Dexter, our creative director here at the Center for Talking Arts, is with me, directing, producing, checking the sound, the lighting. We have a gigantic audience here tonight. Online, we have my best friend, Randy Hughes, and all his rambunctiousness. And I hear that we have, and there's hundreds more, quite frankly, in this gigantic venue. And we have, who do we have online? We have an anarchist named Ian, about whom I should be having conversations about Argentina and the gold standard and Javier Milei. Anyway, we are online. So I guess it's time for me to say, live from the Center for Talking Arts in downtown Hamilton, it's the weekly talk show, starring your host, Sean Patrick Sullivan. Special guest appearance by Sean Patrick Sullivan. Exclusive music performance by Sean Patrick Sullivan. All of this based on a concept by executive producer Sean Patrick Sullivan. I love you, James Franco. So this has become our theme song. We love it. We cherish it. We pretend to be able to singing it. Mom, where's that money for my music tutor instruction? You promised me a birthday gift. Oh yes, oh yes, I almost forgot. The Canadian government froze my PayPal until further notice. But it's still a constitutional monarchy. It's still a republic. Except not. I'm always a flop at a top-notch affair, but I still got my health, so what do I care? My best friend, alas, is a game of solitaire, but I still got my health, so what do I care? My fashion and foppery are never discussed. Attend the Opry, my box would be a bust. I never shall have that Park Avenue air, but I've got such health, what do I care? The hip that I shake doesn't make people stare, but I've got such health, what do I care? The side of my props never stops a thoroughfare, but I still got my health, so what do I care? Your face is your fortune, so some wise man spoke. My face is my fortune, that's why I'm totally broke. My ship ain't come in, so I'll grin while I bear, 'cause I've got my vitamins, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I still have mine. Got no diamonds, got no wealth, I got no man, but I got my health. Thank you, both of you. All right, it's time for the talk portion. Let me make sure I'm all set up here, kids. I've got my Perrier now available at the CFTA Cafe, open Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And what's this? It's an espresso campana. with cardamom, also available at the cafe. Because in addition to starring in shows, producing shows, and tending bar, and cleaning toilets, I also design and develop food and beverage menus. Let's see how this tastes. I trust you. If it's not good, I'm not going to lie and say that it is. And I'm not confident because I grabbed the cayenne pepper instead of the cinnamon, so we're having a Mexican moment. I don't know if my stomach can handle a Mexican moment right now. Although cayenne is supposed to be very healing for the digestive tract. Dexter, how was yours? Did you like it?
Yes, I did.
I'm so glad. I'm still figuring it out. I think I'd like it more if my stomach wasn't in emergency room level pain right now. My hernia has gotten so bad, kids.
Start drinking vinegar in water every morning.
For a hernia?
It basically helps with dissolving the fat around the organs.
Oh, really? Can I? It dissolves fat around the organs. Can I take a bath in it? This whole being housed thing is not working for me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be doing residencies next year in New York City, Chicago, Austin, you name it, I'll be there. But this year, what I need is a 2-week residency on a park bench because there's no weight loss plan is good. I know I mention it every week, but it's always a surefire hit. Anyway, and just in case I decide to yank one of you onto the stage for an interview, let me make sure that my breath is fresh and delicious. All right. So it seems to me that Canadians are on the cutting edge of being okay with incest. I've never met anyone, gay, straight, or otherwise, that has a problem or any discomfort at all with this flurry of stepsister, stepbrother, stepmother, stepfather porn that back in the good old days when I was possessed by demons and interested in all sorts of dark and zesty stuff, I consumed, not paying attention to the step part of it. What a boner killer. But seriously, no one seems to care. No one really seems to care about anything. Except getting all of the video games and porn and junk food that they can shove down their uneducated, unsophisticated throats. On a related note, I have to tell you, out of all the pedophiles in Hollywood, I've always found Charlie Sheen's act of child molestation to be the most adorable. He seems like a fun guy. No, Corey Haim wasn't. Corey Haim, well, allegedly he is. This is the audience participation segment of the show. Well, here's the thing. There's no one more masculine than a well-adjusted homosexual man. You don't know that because there are no well-adjusted homosexual men anymore. Have you noticed that lesbians have disappeared? They can't all be in jail. There's no such thing as a lesbian. There's no such thing as a gay man. There's no such thing as someone being transgender. These are all names that we come up with to imperfectly glide through conversations that are really about people's sexual choices, and they are choices. Born this way, that's bullshit. Did you know that something LaVey, and we should have known he was trouble just from the last name, LaVey, dropped by Anton LaVey, founder of the Satanic Church, writer of the Satanic Bible, dropped by his daughter, who many of you may know is the biological mother of Taylor Swift. I can't prove that, but I invite you to look up some pictures. My personal favorite search engine is Brave. My favorite browser is Brave. I love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. I love the privacy features. They give me the ability to almost convincingly fool myself that my online behavior is safe and only for me. But I notice in all seriousness that Charlie Sheen is getting plastic surgery this week, or got plastic surgery last week, because he is doing that thing that so many celebrities do, which is go transgender by immersion. For example, who knew that Paul McCartney would become Angela Lansbury? Yet it happened. Who knew that Charlie Sheen would become that Vanderpump chick? I can see it. I don't know if you can, but I can. The thing that's interesting about Charlie Sheen is that he's so adorable. When he ranted against Chuck Lorre, the creator of 2.5 Men, I never really disagreed with him. I didn't like his style, but I kind of got what he was saying. But on the other hand, alleged dingbat Denise Richards, in interviews, at least the ones that I've seen, because I can't say that I've seen them all, she comes across rather goddess-like. Not the least bit delusional. That is a woman who chooses her plastic surgeon on the basis of what looks good on TikTok, not what looks good on reality, and that's what we need more of in today's celebrities. Hey, Randy. You know that slutty muscle Asian teenager who used to dance on top of the box on Electric Circus, the Much Music, pseudo nightclub, let's review the top hits of the week program? That was my second husband. That was my second husband. It's my first husband with whom I had the three-way with the Indian from the Village People. No, there was no woman there. No, there was no woman there. Again, I'm well adjusted. Here's the mechanism. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have something for you. I'm here to explain something. I know that you're very grateful for this. I am going to break down the etiology of homosexuality and more generally sexual dissidence in general. So, the evidence for genetics is slight to none. The evidence for hormonal cascades, especially mothers who are going through stress, shock, or surprise, rather wonderful. But we all know that mothers who have those responses during childbirth, who can't meditate their way into a peaceful state for the benefit of the fetus, are usually borderline. I'm generalizing, but let's face it. And so all of these hormonal cascades affect the child, but it's the behavior manifested by the mother, the boundaryless, borderless behavior, the inability, the smothering Medea complex, the inability to view one's job as letting a child learn and grow, rather to become an apparatus of the mother, a lack of detachment. Acts not so great, and that for some reason tend to occur in the absence of breastfeeding. I withhold, I command. I withhold, I command. Why do you need an immune system? Okay, that's a whole other topic and one of my favorite fetishes. We'll get to that soon. But, so here's the thing. So you have these hormonal cascades over a fetus. you get a child who then has a certain type of mother, and this activates a set of decisions in the young child. They don't feel like decisions, but they are. And the decision, because there's almost always a withdrawn or disapproving father, is, fuck this shit. The next decision is to behave in a sensitive way, which causes one to feel different, which is then retroactively identified as, I always knew I was gay. No. You always knew that you were different and hypersensitive. The ability to suss out what's going on inside of a tempestuous nuclear family translates into a greater appreciation for the finer things in life: colors, textures, discernment. And then something interesting happens, something that I believe to be a collective and a process that occurs in the presence of, or in the context of, a collective consciousness. So here's my idea. My idea is that boys who become male homosexuals simultaneously feel repulsion over what surrounds them, while and this is the retaliation comes from the church, from the family, from social structures rejecting them, because the big game, the game that God or evolution or whatever it is that you believe in, any Adam Smith fans out there, the invisible hand. Not the Fantastic Four's Invisible Man. Creates this process where male children are rejected. They self-select out of the reproductive pool. They become critical of social institutions, and they take jobs that are about the maintenance and improvement and the valorization of art, culture, and society. We're talking about architects, curators, educators, designers, writers. And in this capacity, these men are able to do their work in such a way that society becomes revised, corrected, redirected, smartened up. And there's a certain level of gratitude for having been rejected, because who wants to spend every Sunday with Aunt fucking Sarah anyway? What I'm describing is an ideal, and it's the ideal inside of which I grew up. And I am disgusted that in today's day and age we have ruined this finely calibrated evolutionary mechanism with acceptance. Please don't accept me. Who the fuck do you think you are to accept me? You don't even understand me. I'm here to entertain you. I'm here to enlighten you. I'm here to confront you towards the transformation that we all need, the same way that Camille Paglia and Jordan Peterson have done it for me. And then it's done, okay? We're not friends. We might be lovers, but we're not friends. Anyway, back to the subject. Today's age of acceptance has made homosexuals soft, needy, and rather than being at the cutting edge of culture, it's splattered, bleeding, abattoir-like remnants. Thank you, Dexter, for reminding me of the word abattoir. Contemporary homosexuals really don't have much of a right to exist. Adopting children and using surrogates and all of these things when there are babies that are desperately need homes all over the world. Trying to be married. And you want to know something? Every Christian conservative from the 1980s is right. Fellow homosexuals, you are ruining the institution of marriage because you don't get it. Marriage is not about someone to clean your dildos after the three-way with the UPS driver. What a marriage is about is 1 + 1 = 3. It's about the creation of something greater than you and greater than you could have achieved on your own. That might take the form of children. That might take the form of a business. Personally, I find myself very aroused by working with people with whom by creating with, people with whom I have sex. I love that. It deepens it for me. It's not about having someone to reinforce all of your worst traits so that by the time you're 70, one of you kicks the bucket during a meth binge and the other one's left to wander the streets with his pants unzipped, wondering what happened to everything. It's a scenario that never improves until the age of somewhere between 65 and 70, at which time some relative usually kicks the bucket without a will, producing a whiny grab for the property of the relative that they never loved or visited because they're gay, so why not? We're allowed to do anything we want. Think about it, people. I'm an old-fashioned homosexual. I've married, but it was always to start a business. Well, when I was young, that isn't how it started, but that's how it progressed, because I am a very good first husband. I've had 3 so far. There'll probably be 1 more. Anyway, I think it's time to move on to the next topic. Let's see what we have here today. Joni Mitchell has Morgellons disease. There are threads growing out of her body. Everyone says that it's a form of conversion disorder, but I happen to think that it has something to do with the evolution of telomeres. Threads coming out of our skin, acting as antenna for the internet. It's a 6th sense, or perhaps a 7th. I think it's time that we lighten it up here. I've been so damn dour. What the hell? Where are all... here we go. Thank you, Randy. All right, so we need to lighten things up, so let's talk about abortion. Where are my notes? All right, I'm just going to riff it. So here's the thing. In my own view, everyone should be able to comment on everything. That's one of the tremendous benefits about a liberal democracy. And I have no guilt, shame, or hesitation in stating my view that it's not just about a woman's body. It's about what we culturally agree to as barbaric versus decent. And abortion is one of those areas where until we evolve spiritually and until women really learn to embrace the power that they gave up along with Rouge, we need to have a situation where we're all unhappy, and to me, 12 weeks is perfectly reasonable. It's what all the Scandinavian nations do, and I'd like to add something. When we talk about places to admire and copy, so many of us point our fingers at Scandinavia and the Nordic states. I'm not quite sure what the Venn diagram is there, but I know that they're not exactly the same. Now, a spider web. I'm having a no doubt moment. What? Yes, they are, and very sturdy. And is somebody coming in? I could have sworn someone did. So, Erin, how are you doing? I hope to see you tomorrow night, or come down tonight if you'd like. But anyway, let me get back to this abortion thing, because after we're done with this amusing topic, we'll move on to something a bit more weighty. So, Aaron, I have a point here, and I think that you'll agree with me. If we're going to have anything other than 12 weeks, what we need to do is pair it with a requirement that women carry firearms. Because there'd be no conversations about exceptions for rape and incest if every woman was packing heat and knew how to use it. A little bit from the left and a little bit from the right. A little bit from the left and a little bit from the right. And here's another thing. This isn't such a problem in Canada, but in the States, if we're going to have abortion, and I understand why we have to have it in all seriousness, despite all of this hilarity and provocateurism, I understand the need for it. Could we please dismantle Planned Parenthood? We don't need Planned Parenthood turning the byproducts of abortions into adrenochrome for the wealthy. And that's exactly what happens. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's absolutely true. Look it up. So, I think this is a good time for me to change my glasses into something more relatable. And while I'm doing this, let me tell you that tonight's fashion moment is brought to you by Temu and the Salvation Army. I am wearing a John Varvatos coat that has been turned inside out because I can do that. I have a cowled shirt that barely covers my protruding belly. This is a piece from a harness that, like, I don't know, I couldn't figure out, like, it was so cheaply made, I couldn't figure out, like, what to do with it, and I'm kind of oversexed anyway, so whatever. Anyway, so now that we can make eye contact, let me tell you about how I feel post-American election. I'm not thrilled. I'm not upset. The guy that I voted for won, but I don't have any sense of delight emerging from somebody else losing. And I have to tell you, kids, if Kamala Harris had won, I would have giggled to myself, not in public, for about 5 minutes, and then I would have said, well, you know, maybe I'm wrong about her. I wish her the very best. I'm going to give her a year before I open my mouth. And I think that's the healthy way to go about it. Attendance at professional sporting events has plummeted except for mixed martial arts. Has politics taken its place? Should we allow ourselves to have politics take its place? No. I think we need to go back to attending professional sports events, or better yet, prompt a war that happens on our own soil. That really toughens people up. But since the Republican candidate did win, and this win was facilitated to a tremendous extent by the podcasters of the world, I want something back. Randy, Dexter, I want something back. I want RFK Jr. and those glistening senior muscles. I want Joe Rogan, so attractive in a mesh tank or anything else. Douglas Murray and his conservative, bulging biceps. Delight of chubby chasers everywhere, Tim Dillon. Even the limber, giraffe-loving Brian Callen. I want all of you to strip down and get oiled up and convene at what used to be the Playboy Mansion and participate in a photo shoot for a swimsuit calendar photographed by the one and only Cheryl Hines. Why not? I think it would sell. I don't know what's going on with these guys in McDonald's. I personally think some things are brewing, that like McDonald's is going to go back to tallow or something. You know, I remember those McDonald's fries that were fried in tallow, which is also wonderful for the skin. My Instagram is filled, literally filled, with one tallow-based skincare line after another. Lesbians and nonconformists and born-again Christian homeschooling moms with long legs and a high heel. So many women, no men so far, so many women from such a diversity of backgrounds. The only thing uniting them, aside from their love of tallow as a skincare ingredient, is their strength. I love someone who pickles. I love people who grow their own food and sew their own clothes, like a 16-year-old Madonna getting ready for the junior prom. My next song is dedicated to Illuminati sorceress Beyonce Knowles, who butchered it at the Kennedy Center Awards in 2017. She didn't sound bad, ladies and gentlemen, but she did ruin it. You see, the song I'm about to sing was originated by Barbra Streisand, who infused it with a smooth, rich, buttery quality unique to the coiffed, bejeweled, Dior-clad funky divas of Jew pop. Carole King, It's Not Too Late. Jessie Ware, Thank You, I Have Freed Myself. Neil Diamond, Hold on, just a minute, I'm working on a show. I will buy you flowers. But most of all, and most importantly, everyone's favorite Syrian-Canadian Jewess, Paula Abdul. Now, when I say buttery, I'm talking about modulations of tone, pitch, and volume that would be impossible without all of that Jewish food, especially the high concentration of luscious, lubricating chicken fat. This buttery quality, utterly absent in Beyonce's version, which, by the way, she plays almost as earnestly and inauthentically as her sham of a witchcraft-embracing marriage to the adorably guilty Sean Jay-Z Carter. Exhausting. Beyonce, I live for you. I give it up to you. Your ability to vampirically rape and pillage the entire history of American pop music, while at the same time keeping your younger and far more talented sister locked in a basement of a New Orleans row house disguised as an Airbnb so you could harvest adrenochrome, is quite frankly stunning. And Ms. Knowles, I owe you an apology. How could I have voted for a monster who cut child sex trafficking throughout the Americas in half the first year of his first term as president, when you were paid $10 million to shake your padded, Satan-worshipping, inarticulate ass for everyone's favorite slave master and Xanax addict, Kamala Harris? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry about this, Ms. Knowles, but not about this tribute in which I will ruin a beloved Streisand standard even more emphatically than you. Not like you did, with a total lack of integrity and Jewishness, but rather with a total lack of talent that I have no problems expressing over the internet, to the dismay and disappointment of my mother and so many like her. Ladies and gentlemen, you can take this as a song about the one who got away, or you can think of it the way that I do, as a reminder of the Soviet Union's ruthless and, from where I'm standing, successful 50-year plan to turn America and Canada into a land of scared, stupid, sexless veal calves terrified of their own shadows. Carl Jung, Hannah Arendt, this one's for you. And P.S., by the way, Soylent Green is Benjamin Moore's color of the year. Memories, not the corners of... Nope, it's not going to happen. My voice doesn't feel up to it tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want me to give to you musically until it hurts, I need to see more of you in the seats here. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for whoever comes, and I certainly have the talent, charisma, and obnoxiousness to play to an empty room. But come on, people. Give me your energy. I'll give you mine back. It will be a healing, reciprocal experience. Come on in. Everything about this place is perfect. The lighting, the fragrance, the menu. Just come on in. We need you all to come on in. I need you all to come on in so together we can tackle the issues of the day. Like, where's Brittany Murphy? I can't believe that Brittany Murphy, vocalist behind Faster Pussycat, Kill, the Paul Oakenfold hit single, is gone. Brittany Murphy, if you can hear me, dinner's ready. I made your favorite, spaghetti, lots of oregano. What do we have here? By the way, I really wish that I enjoyed making people feel uncomfortable, because if I did, I'd be enjoying tonight like nothing else. How could you like Sean Patrick Sullivan? He's so mean. Sean Patrick Sullivan's evil. Sean Patrick Sullivan has no talent. I know that. Give me another 4 weeks. So this is interesting. I just did a search for the karaoke track of the song that I was going to sing, and all I got was every single video that's ever been recorded here with me in it. Isn't that strange? I need to start paying for YouTube Premium. Does anybody want to sponsor me, be my benefactor, underwrite me? You'll get an occasional handy J and constant looks of disapproval. It's worth every penny. Load up on guns and bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend. She's overboard, she's self-assured. Oh no, I know a dirty word. Hello, 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 how low? Hello, 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 how low? With the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now. Entertain us. I feel so stupid and so contagious. Here we are now. Entertain us. A mulatto, an albino, a mosquito, my libido, hey. Are we allowed to say mulatto anymore? Or order a moo latte from Dunkin' Donuts? How about albinos? I do find them very hot. What's that? What I do best, and for this gift I do feel blessed. A little group has always been and always will until the end. Hello, 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 how low? Hello, 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 how low? I love singing from my desk. I don't know what it's like for you out there. I encourage you to comment profusely. I loved Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love. With the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now. Entertain us. I feel so stupid and so contagious for not mentioning that this is for educational purposes only. This is not for entertainment purposes, and we are not drawing a profit. This is strictly for education. So I may have done this a little bit before, but I'm not sure. And I wasn't really at my best at my last show. I'm feeling super confident right now. I had a wonderful meeting with my colleague, Dexter. We got so much accomplished, made so many decisions. One of the things that we decided in our meeting is that Dexter is going to continue to be the warm, community-oriented one, and I'm going to be the cold-hearted, how much money is this making us person? Because every organization needs that balance. I think it's beautiful. I think that the two of us are a role model and an inspiration for people wondering how to get along with loved ones who have different politics, different backgrounds. We're accomplishing it here at the Center for Talking Arts, and you should too. Is there any way that we could get a shot of the back in this new line of t-shirts, this new line of merchandise that we've created, or is that impossible? Ladies and gentlemen, look at this. The shirts are printed on both sides. For those of you like me who only wear black, we have a black on black print. We're doing diagonals. We're Bauhaus inspired. We've created characters. That mouse has a caption under it. Fame mouse. Famous. I love it. And a variety of long-sleeved selections for these cold winter months. Anyway, I wasn't at my best the last time I discussed this. I actually do remember talking about it. But tonight, I want you to know that I'm a total fraud. I have no talent whatsoever. I'm desperate, lonely, isolated, and following the destruction of my 25-year creative direction portfolio at the hands of a hateful, toxic ex. The only two options available to me in my future were getting my PhD or becoming an entertainer. And I said to myself, I want people to actually see my output, so I'll be an entertainer. But really, the pressure, the struggles, the sets that I bomb, it's weighing on me. And I want you to know that I've stolen every word that's ever come out of my mouth. Nothing I say is original. Nothing that I say is worthwhile. You should quite frankly ignore all of my preening, boastful monologues. And tonight I think it's only appropriate that I give it up to the ladies of comedy and music, from whom I have ruthlessly and relentlessly cribbed. I'm sorry, Ms. Bernhard, not only for everything that I've just described, but also for sweating so much when I met you that I soaked your high heels. Karen Walker, a.k.a. Anastasia Beaverhausen, thank you for giving me enough one-liners to make it as far as I have in my 24 weeks portraying a comedian. Lilith Crane and Diane Chambers. I would never know how to make it known to an entire room that I'm disapproving and judgmental were it not for you. But most of all and most importantly, I apologize, I surrender, I offer amends. I don't know what the 12-step word is, but something like that. I just want to let each and every one of you know that my career as a singer, an actor, a humorist, a host and a producer, my career is not my own. It is that of the one and only Henson Studios creation, Miss Piggy. Don't you know who I am? I'm Miss Piggy. Don't you know who I am? I'm Tina Yothers. Don't you know who I am? I'm Courtney Love. Let's talk about Miss Piggy. So there's a documentary on YouTube about her, and I have to tell you something. Her backstory is amazing. So Miss Piggy was born in Appalachia, in a town that loved pork. Her mother was a drunk, a gambler, and a grifter. She escaped. She went to Hollywood. She went to New York, then Hollywood, modeling herself after the stars of the silver screen of the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. Betty Grable, Marlene Dietrich. What's the name of that woman who invented Wi-Fi? The European. She was considered the most beautiful woman in the world. Well, she modeled herself. By the way, as a sidebar, the story of the Hollywood actress from Europe who escaped Nazism and invented Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and something else in addition to like cracking some spy code. It's the best story ever. And Gal Gadot, come on. You've been promising us a biopic for years. It's not materializing. You're not doing Wonder Woman 3. I'm bitter about it, but you're not, so like, let's get moving. You can't be spending all of your time overseeing the manufacture of vegan macaroni and cheese. Anyway, Miss Piggy modeled herself after these stars, and she got a job in an unnamed venue that all of us saw in the Muppet Show, kind of like I got myself a job at the Center for Talking Arts. And I want to say at this moment that Miss Piggy's story not only inspired me, but Christina but it was a doubtless inspiration, a template, as it were, for Christina Aguilera's surprisingly naive character in Burlesque, one of the greatest movies of all time, best seen as a triple feature with Showgirls and The Substance. Anyway, Miss Piggy has, since those days in a proto-vaudeville show with her sometimes lover, the swinging bisexual Kermit the Frog, she has worked as a fashion magazine editor, a critic of divas and icons like Wendy Williams, Joan Rivers, and most recently, another one of my heroes, Martha Stewart. Miss Piggy is truly everything. And I want each and every one of you to remember that. Now's a good time for applause so I can change. Thank you. We're in the home stretch, kids. How long have we been streaming? An hour? Okay. We are not going to exceed 90 minutes. We may, in fact, wrap it up sooner than that. So, all right. So, I want to share something with all of you. I want to share with you my list of the greatest television series of all time. Because if there's anything that we're not doing enough of in this world, it's binge watching television when we should be cleaning our apartments. Or cardboard boxes behind the strip mall or whatever. I don't know who my audience is yet. I need A/B testing. All right, so I have various categories, and I'm going to start with prestige television. Do you all have your pads of paper, your fountain pens out to write this down? In no particular order, my favorite series, and I believe the best series, because they really show you how human beings interact, how human beings create, and what happens when human beings are under pressure from all sides, are The Crown. Who needs a history teacher? Just play that, W.E., that Madonna movie, The King's Speech, The Queen, a few others, and that's everything you need to know about one area of human history. The reptilian stuff you can get from other sources, but that's The Crown. Mad Men, don't even get me started. Sheer brilliance. Abstract, a documentary series about all sorts of designers and artists, shoe designers, automotive designers, typography designers, etc. And The Kaminsky Method, perhaps the greatest television program ever made about the relationships between men. Since we've spoken about men, let's branch off and go with my next category. By the way, I have 6 categories, I think, and all of them have 4, so I need to speed it up. So the experience, what it's like to be a woman, I very much learned from these shows. I hope they're accurate. I think they are, because they leave me with a rather bewitching impression. Is The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Wonder Woman, with an honorable mention to The Bionic Woman. Sidebar, The Bionic Woman was so brilliant in the way that it was an early representation of resistance to technology and responsibility. It's a show that leaves you feeling ambivalent about its protagonist, and I think that was the point. And the new version of One Day at a Time, which is an absolute revelation. I've never seen a show do such a good job in a comedic way of dealing with wokeism. It's a show that's truly satisfying and hilarious regardless of what your politics are. Everyone gets it sooner or later, and they get it perfectly. Something interesting about Desperate Housewives, if Jake, our owner and founder, is watching, he'll find this very interesting. So there's so in World War II Italy, Rossellini made what is arguably the first neorealist film. It's a credit that's more often given to Rome Open City, but I don't know about that. And it was an uncredited, unauthorized remake of The Postman that Always Rings Twice, which had been a novel by James Cain. It was named Ossessione. And Antonioni was a disciple of Rossellini. And he, 10 or 15 years later, remade Ossessione as story of a love affair with the same male lead, which tends to happen in Italian film. It also happened with Swept Away, but that was his son, which kind of duplicated what happened with the two Steve Trevors on Wonder Woman, but let's not get too metatextual. Antonioni also made a movie called Le Amiche, which was about 5 upwardly mobile, backstabbing housewives in a wealthy part of Turin who experienced the unexpected suicide of one of their fellow besties and embark on an investigation as to what happened while dealing with all sorts of affairs and mishaps and scandals. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is that after the success of The Golden Girls, when television creator Mark Cherry was asked to do another show, he walked in with a reel of Le Amiche, and he said, "Here's my pilot." And that's how we got Desperate Housewives, which I believe to be an incredibly intellectual, spellbinding, and provocative show about the ravaging effects of time on the lives of women and the profound difference in the nature of friendships in men versus women. It's easy to dismiss as something saucy and soap operatic, but that's not really what it is. Okay, next category. Sitcoms based on real people. Dice, Marin, Roseanne, and from Catherine Ryan, one of Canada's own, The Duchess. Another category, sitcoms that are about how to behave and how not to behave. Will and Grace, Difficult People, Special, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And my last two categories are real interesting. So around 2010, 2011, ABC Television, the American network owned by the Disney Corporation, had this profusion of incredibly fast-paced sitcoms. So fast-paced that you could barely pay attention to, that you could barely figure out what was going on. They were all brilliant, and they include Cougar Town, which in its first season was terrible, Happy Endings, which in its first season was a parody of Friends, Better Off Ted, the luscious and legendary and vivacious Portia de Rossi, that's all you need to know, and Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, which was kind of sort of a remake of Three's Company. All of these shows were canceled at the same time by an incoming president of primetime entertainment who hated sitcoms and wanted news, news, news. I think we need to find this man, and I think we need to hang him. A few years later, NBC experienced a similar profusion of sitcoms that lasted 1 or 2 seasons. They're very hard to find online in Canada, but I recommend that you look at them anyway. They all involve multi-ethnic or non-white casts. And one of the things that I really appreciate about these shows, as someone who's not only devastatingly handsome, but sufficiently swarthy to pass for most things, and therefore has been treated accordingly by various groups of people who have mistaken my ethnic identity. These are not shows in which ethnicity is a joke. These are shows in which human beings are treated like human beings, and shows in which we learn about cultures without judging them as better or worse. The shows are telenovela. The conceit of that show is that Eva Longoria is a telenovela actress who doesn't know a word of Spanish and is keeping it from everyone who works with her. It's amazing. Superstore, which resonates for me because in the middle of my nervous breakdown / downward spiral / midlife crisis, I worked at Walmart, and the show is, okay, so you know how like you watch television shows that take place in advertising agencies or retail stores, what have you, and they never seem realistic? For those of you who are considering a job at Walmart, which isn't the worst idea in the world, if you set your sights high within the organization, Superstore is very, very, very realistic. Sunnyside, starring Cal Penn, freshly out of Barack Obama's administration, looking hotter than ever. And finally, a beautifully shot sitcom full of color and interesting lighting and camera angles that you don't typically see in American sitcoms, outsourced. Who do we have here? Hey! Ladies and gentlemen, we have another esteemed audience member with us, one of our personal favorites, but we shall not turn the camera on this person. We shall maintain this person's privacy and dignity, unless this person has changed their mind and wants to be an impromptu guest. Are you? Are you? Thank you. Thank you. Wow. All right. So, this is what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, because we're in the home stretch. I'm going to sneak preview for you a song that will be monumental in its thematic intensity. Not so great in terms of the actual vocals, but hey, it's my show, not yours, so I'm sure you'll deal with it. And then once we're, hey, eyes up here, I need the love, I need the affection, I need the energy. And then once we're done with that, I'm going to see if I can finagle a round table with my best friends. All right? So this song, what? My favorite shows. My favorite shows. Dick Van Dyke was a really good show, I have to admit, and way ahead of its time. But hold on, I got to wrap this up. Damn it. It's 9:30. We started at 8:10. Okay, I have 10 minutes. All right, here we go. How are we doing over there, Dexter? Here we go. Is it okay if I go over there? Don't sound so excited. I'm just kidding, Dexter. I will take feedback and criticism after the song. I am the captain, and this is my shrine. Lord of the manor, see what I leave behind. River in flames, cities on fire. Yes, I'm a relic trapped in the wire. Hydrogen fuel, it burns so clean, throbs in the veins of my loving machine. She is my wife, her mechanical heart, constantly throbbing till death do us part. Now a glorious war draws to a close. Nope. I'm very willing to break the comedy format, but I'm not willing to break it that badly. I will rehearse that and get back to you, kids. Now, I have a question. I have a question for my two favorite of our many thousands of live audience members. Would you guys care to, actually, two questions. Dexter, yes. Question for you. If we were to do the last 5 minutes of the show on that sofa, would you be able to record that, or would that just be impossible?
You'd have to bring the microphones.
If I brought a microphone?
Yes, the lighting won't be so great, but yes. We can also scoot your chair up.
Okay, what if we sat on the edge of this? Like we're having a 1980s anti-drug rap session.
I think the sofa was a good intuition.
The lighting is the issue, so you can just bring chairs up to the stage.
All right, so I have a question for two of my favorite audience members out of the 1,000 that we have tonight. Would you guys like to join me on stage? And just to talk, we can riff, share about our days, or would you rather me end it right here and now? Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Randy Hughes and the glorious, glamorous, hilarious woman and friend who, at least for now, has no name. Grab a chair or a bench or something. We're just going to riff for a minute or two. I want one of you on either side of me. Come. I'm shy. Come. No, you're not.
How close? How far?
Oh, yes. Sorry. I'm just a gigolo, and everywhere I go, people know the part. Randy,
Yes.
I'm playing. Pay for every dance.
Does anybody have a music tuner?
Selling each romance. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. So, Randy.
Yes, sir.
So, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking.
How's the job search going?
Oh, it's going exceedingly well.
Tell us about the rather sophisticated workplace at which you interviewed earlier today.
Oh, yes. A killing floor of, not that I'm a vegetarian, because I don't really give a shit about killing animals, but do I need to be on the receiving end of that? Really? Yeah, I was interviewed at a hog killing place, and whatever the fuck they do with that. But as I was walking through the plant being exceedingly depressed.
Were you splattered by blood?
No, I wasn't, but there was fat everywhere on the floor and discarded pieces of meat, and it was quite depressing. Not like this glamorous lifestyle we lead at night here at the CFTA.
Randy, I think that you're lying to us. I think that you really do care about animals, and I think that you support biodynamic farming in the style of Rudolf Steiner. We'll talk more later.
We should.
Erin,
Hey,
you look great.
do I?
Yes.
I have a big fucking zit.
And you're you don't let them know. Tell us about your day.
Tell you about my day.
Or anything that's on your mind.
Well, my day was fucked. Anything that's on my mind. I have to say, I am fucking impressed with your, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm impressed with your...
Shamelessness.
No. Usually I'm not at a loss for words, so
Yes.
give me a second.
That's okay.
Yes. No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I'm impressed. I loved what I saw. I loved what I saw so much that I actually got out of the bath to come here in person, to see you in person, before you are an international celebrity. So that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy coming from me.
So we're going to have to dial that back, Missy, because we don't want people thinking
Whoa!
this is...
Why have 3 people called me Missy in the last 2 days, but never ever before? What's up with that?
Okay, you're throwing a lot at. You're throwing a lot at me. So first of all, there's no sarcasm. There's no irony here. This is not a Paul Thomas Anderson moment.
No idea who that is, but go on.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That means so much to me.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. That means so much to me.
You're like, I don't
Just the
give a
greatest filmmaker of the latter
here,
part of the 20th
but here's the thing. We're
century.
going to stop talking about whether or not I'm great because it's my whole act. The audience has already had more than enough of it. And
Can we get a pan of the audience, Dexter? Can you show?
no! They deserve privacy. They didn't sign releases. And as for your Missy thing,
Yeah, what the fuck's up with
so I think, here's what I think might have happened.
really freaked me out?
So I think that the election of Donald Trump as president may have triggered something positive, a trend towards nostalgic, melancholy recoveries of the past ways of doing things, past slang.
Past slang.
And Missy is a great word because is everything okay?
Yeah, just one has to have a mic.
Okay, Missy is Missy is a really great word because it speaks to formality, it speaks to spunk, it speaks to someone carrying herself in a composed and sometimes demanding way, and I love all of that.
I'm not so sure that's accurate because I looked up the definition.
You are sure or not sure?
I'm not sure what you're saying is accurate. However, I can appreciate your interpretation.
What
but
do you come up with?
Well, the definition is it's used as an affectionate or disparaging form to address a young girl. And in slang, it's what does it mean when someone calls you Missy? Because 3 fucking people, you're the 3rd in the last like 4 hours. It can be it can be used in a negative way as a slightly patronizing term to refer to a young woman. But in this context, it can be, like what you said.
Well, people might not call you Missy if you let people know your name.
No. These other 2 knew my fucking name.
They did.
Yeah, so I feel like now I'm kind of trying to inch us into the topic of like phenomenology and just phenomenon in general, but we don't have to go there. I'm just saying sometimes weird shit happens and then
Yes.
it happens in succession, like where you go, oh, that's weird. Why did that happen? And then it happens again and then it happens again. But it's not like, oh, it's a coincidence. It's like, it's a phenomenon, right? So I experienced a phenomenon of being called Missy for the first time in years by anyone, and then fucking bam, this guy that I don't talk to anymore, not for any particular negative reason aside the fact that he uses drugs in the wrong way, but like he messages me and says, hey, Missy. And I was like, why did he just call me Missy when this fucking person I was arguing with called me Missy? And then, I come in here and you call me Missy. It's just weird, that's all.
Well, you definitely have magnetism, and you are probably a lightning rod for synchronous behavior, phenomena, and vocabulary.
Maybe Missy is just better than cunt. Like maybe it's just a step up. They're trying to be nice about it.
Randy, what do you think? Is Missy superior
I
to
think
cunt?
cunt's always a better word than missy, but
Well-
she
But
doesn't.
what is missy? What does it mean when someone calls me missy?
It's probably being. It's either patronizing or maybe they think they're being hilarious, missy. You know,
Okay,
sarcastic.
okay.
Should be sarcastic, be patronistic.
Do you
It
hear
could
that
be-
term, though? Do you
it
hear
could be- of-
missy?
Yeah, of course.
People
I've
use
heard it
it?
many times. But
Okay.
then we're old, though. You're younger than we are, so
Oh.
it's kind of an ironic term
You
as
just
well.
solved it for me.
Missy, hey, missy.
Is everyone our age?
Everyone who called me missy in the last, they were all above the age of.
It could be a patronizing,
certain
but it could
age.
be an endearing thing as well, depending
It's
on
a
the age
generational thing.
of the
Okay.
person who said
Sorry,
it.
I crashed this show. Let's go back to what you were talking about.
No, you didn't crash. You were invited up. So what have we learned today? What have we learned tonight? We've learned that I love talking about myself.
We learned about incest.
Yes. We've learned that Randy photographs very well with his shockingly sparkly blue eyes, and that he doesn't want to work in an abattoir.
I'm so proud of that.
We've-
Oh, you work at a slaughterhouse?
No, that's what he interviewed for.
No, I interviewed for that, but I reneged on it because I don't feel like freezing my ass off and dealing with.
You interviewed people who were applying to work there?
No. I applied for a job at a slaughterhouse.
Not knowing
But
that's what it was.
Yeah, no,
That's
I don't.
crazy. And you're not gonna do
No,
it?
because I don't have not the stomach for it, but I just don't want to freeze my ass off and lift things that
Really?
I couldn't possibly lift because I'm not strong enough and I'm too self-loathing to be part of any kind of organization.
Really?
Yeah.
They would hire you, and you're saying no?
Yeah, well.
It's not because you don't want to.
No, it's just it was a horrible environment, you know.
Okay.
It's not any political reason. I don't give a shit about killing animals.
Well, then you're perfect for the job.
Then ironically, I would be perfect for the job, but I'm looking to be. I'm looking for something. I don't know what.
What's your dream job?
Well,
Sorry.
Okay, now you've hijacked my show.
No,
to
you're
be
right.
into the fine
No.
arts.
Well,
We're-
Dexter, turn my mic off.
We'll have an after show.
To be
No,
a
We're
comic.
wrapping it up. So
This
what
was
have we learned
Dexter's plan
tonight?
all-
We've learned that I only allow onto my show attractive, sparkly, blue-eyed people who are hilarious and original. We've learned that hundreds, if not thousands of people will show up for one of my events. We've learned that I need to work on my singing, but that's something that we establish episode after episode. But most of all, and most importantly, we've learned that you got to have friends. Sing it with me. The feeling oh so strong. You got to have friends just to make the day last long.
I don't know this
Standing
song.
by the side of the road, girl, waiting for my new friends to come. I don't care if they're sleazy or whoa. Ruthless. I gotta get me some of them.
You just spit on my face.
I did?
Well, not spit, but
I'm
just
sorry.
Missed it. It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
The only line I know of that song is "You gotta have friends," but that's all I know of it.
But there's another Friends song. There's another Friends song by Miss Jody Watley that goes, have you ever been stabbed in the back by someone you thought was really cool?
I have.
Did they steal your lover?
Nope.
Or was it money?
It was definitely
Or
money.
was it lies they told?
Wow.
Strangers just disguised as your friends. Never again, 'cause now you know. Roll the credits. Friends will let you down. Friends won't be around. Sing it with me. When you need them most, where are your friends? Goodbye, everybody. Good night. We'll see you next week with your host, Jake Jenk. Friends will let you down. Friends, your friends, friends.
They
We're
certainly
talking about
fucking
your
will.
friends.
They will. They do.
All right, it's a wrap, people.
I really wanted to tell you about what I liked most from your show, though.
Do you want to do
why
it?
Are you wrapping it
Don't
up?
do it off camera. Okay, fine.
The part about okay, well, you can close off in like 10 seconds, whatever. You can cut me off if you want. Dexter, you can cut me off if you want. I loved what you fucking said. Tell me if it was original or not.